All right, guys, so I want to make a video here. I have essentially the same bike separated by model years and trim, well, I guess version. This is the 2025 Giant TCR SL, and it's a size medium. I just bought this, and I want to kind of compare visually how it's different from the 2022 TCR Pro Zero. When I bought this bike, this was actually the nicest bike I'd ever had, but it was still sort of set up to be a good travel bike, meaning you can see all the exposed cables there. And this is 2022. This is like supposed to be the time of aero. But this bike, I am actually gonna have a frame repair done on. The carbon is beginning to crack around the, or not crack, but more like delaminate here. If you can see at the top of this interface between the brake and the fork, which is a fairly common thing. I attribute it to water ingress through here, through that hole. The water comes in, goes down there, creates some sort of a galvanic reaction between the metal interface of where that caliper is mounted. And over time, it just erodes away. And I'm having it repaired here professionally. So this frame's totally salvageable, and there's no defects with it. Just got to clean it up a bit. So I'm gonna get rid of that frame, but this is my new frame. And right away you can see, look at these seat stays. That's freaking beautiful compared to these ones, which is, you got that thing going on there. This is most likely, you know, if you look at the new Madone or the new Colnago V4 RS, they're trying to allow a lot of air to come back through here as cleanly as possible. But again, you know, Giant never wants to change things too much. What else we have? The paint job is very glossy. It's, you know, it was probably as glossy as this was. This thing's got a ton of miles on it now. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, oh my God. The gloss just, over time, I think it fades. You know, it might have some coating on there. It likely does. It likely has like a really nice ceramic coating. The steer tube I've already cut down. Oddly, well, maybe not oddly, this steer tube has these hash marks on it. I don't know if you can see. And then this seat tube. And then this also has some hash marks on it right here. So what ended up happening is my correct height matched up just about perfectly with the amount of unexposed seat post compared to these hash marks, which is right at like 65, 63, 67. And then you have the integrated seat post mount, which is over here packed up. Which has between 20 and 40. It comes with two mounts, actually. It comes with two seat masts so that you can adjust, although I don't know where it is. Back onto frame differences. This area here looks exactly the same. I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it. Maybe we can look up what this problem area here. Is this the exact same fork looking? It looks quite similar. Oh no, that's definitely not the same. Here, we can look, maybe look from this side. You see how that goes up and in a little bit? And then there is a pretty pronounced area. But here they've smoothed it out. This is probably a small CFD guided change, because that's a couple of watts of power savings. This interface here is a sharper angle compared to that one, very smooth. This is smaller also. this whole area is a smaller profile. The legs of the fork look about the same. This seat tube is for sure more truncated. You know, they use these, it's called some sort of like a cam tail profile, right? So like in aerodynamics, you can create a teardrop shape for the most aerodynamic, where it pulls back into a teardrop. But they've learned that you can, if you just cut off flat in the back, you can get about 90% of the same aerodynamic benefit. The whole wheel cutout is less as well, but I guess that was less needed. This is a fully integrated electronic only frame, which is normal when you look at these bars. Old circular style carbon bars versus these Cadex 4042s, much nicer looking integrated cockpit. This is my first ever integrated cockpit and my first ever electronic shifted bike. Super excited, man. This is really a dream. Full Ultegra Di2. I went down to 65mm cranks, which also is probably why I needed an extra 5mm of seat post. I cut some of this stem off, but not too much. But you know, exactly the same. This is the exact same geometry bike, which is really what I like about Giant, is that you know, you want a new bike, but you don't want to change your fit every few years. You know, you want something that's pretty consistent so that you can fine tune your fit. You know, in my opinion, really, the most beautiful part of this bike is right here. This is the best looking part. I don't know why Giant doesn't emphasize that enough. You know, there are no points for any sort of cable inlet there before you have that thing that can be removed. This is a way more beautiful bike, and it really wasn't that much more expensive. I had this shipped from a friend of mine overseas. Well, not really overseas, overlands. I love it. I'm gonna build this up. I'm gonna put these wheels on there. I got all the parts. Although I did get a new pair of shoes. Maybe I can... These new shoes. Maybe new boot goofing. The old ones. These are the old ones, and they are quite literally falling apart. Shoes, you really only get about 20,000 miles out of a pair of shoes. 3 years, if you can get 3 years out of a pair of shoes, you've got your money worth. They're literally falling apart. But these are good shoes also. And they're really not expensive for how nice they are. You know, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're probably gonna transfer these Speedplay pedals onto that bike, and then take these Favero pedals and put them on that and let it be my, this is probably gonna turn into my rain bike. And my rain bike, and that's my fun bike. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's my review of the changes between the Giant TCR Pro and SL 2022 versus 2025. If you liked the video, give it a like. Thanks for watching.